Greetings, friends. It's good to be back on live streaming. Live streaming. Like my birthday live stream, I actually have some notes so I don't run out of things to say. We will get into a sprint, reading sprint, just one, but I do want to talk about some stuff before I begin the sprint itself. And I chose Saturday morning. This is Saturday morning where I am. It's probably Friday evening in much of the West. It would not probably. It is definitely. And I realize I'm going to be competing with a lot of other people live streaming on BookTube. But yeah, it's the only time. It's the best time I will get maximum eyes and attention on me. So let's open up I'm just going to take out my notes here and find out, not find out. I'm slipping on the tongue a lot today. And read what I want to talk about and look at my notes to see what I want to talk about. And I apologize for a lot of the background sound. There's going to be a lot of screaming kids probably. So yeah, we will get into the reading sprint shortly. Let's talk about my got a cough there. Let's talk about my TBR. I actually have a very long TBR, books that I want to read, but to simplify it and to not get distracted and recognizing that I'm a slow reader, I've narrowed it down to two books that I want to pick up after the one I'm reading now. So I'm currently reading The Tale of Genji by Lady Murasaki Shikibu. But this is only the first 17 chapters out of a 54 chapter book. 54, 53 chapter book. 54, I think. Because this was the first English translation, it wasn't the most complete. I mentioned this in one of my shorts. I didn't read the fine print, that the first English translation wasn't the complete novel. Nevertheless, I bought it and I'm reading it. I will, if I pick up a more complete edition of the book, which is the TBR, which is one of the two books I want to pick up. If I pick up a more complete edition of this book, I will pick up where I left off after chapter 17, on chapter 18. So this is the book I will be reading today during the sprint. And let's see. I'm going to give you some. Let's have a subject to talk about. There is a saying from years ago that goes, all of man's problems stem from his inability to sit quietly in a room by himself. And I think that's true. If you want something, if you have a issue, if you have a problem you want to resolve, the best way is to focus on it single-mindedly without removing all distractions. So what you do is you sit in a room quietly by yourself, sit in a quiet space all by yourself, remove all distractions, and then focus on something you want. You want to, and then you ask yourself that question. It's followed up by a series of other questions that you can, for the most part, answer yourself. Now, this is not a guarantee that all your problems will be solved. It's not not the power of manifesting. It's not the power of manifesting what's in your mind. Like, well, I don't remember the name of that, but it is if you remove all distractions, you can see a path that can get you maybe 80% to what your goal is, if not 100%. And if you see the path in front of you, if you see some but not all of the answers, it's important to start taking that trail. It's just important to start taking action, and maybe along the way people will help you. And if you take action, the answers that you couldn't answer you will find the answers that you couldn't find while meditating along the way. The path will open up to you if you take that action. So I'm going to give you an example of how this works. So you ask this question by yourself in a room without distractions. I want to lose weight. Why am I overweight? Because I'm stressed, because I lack energy, because I lack motivation to go to the gym. I eat unhealthy stuff. Are there alternatives? Is there that healthy vegan restaurant somewhere in town? So I can't afford a gym membership. Are there alternatives like hiking in a nearby mountain? Or how can I save up to go to the gym? How can I focus resources there? You ask yourself a series of questions, and most of those questions you can answer. Eventually you might hit a wall. But if you start making progress into answering some of these questions, the path towards your goal will can be realized. I admit I haven't done this very often, and I should. Honestly, I should. I should. Sometimes sometimes if I don't reach 100% of the way, I don't take action when actually I should, and I should do that quiet reflection technique more often. So that is my advice for you today. If you have a problem, focus on it singularly to find the answer to it. And I don't know if any of you are spiritual, but for me, that's like the will of the universe. That's like the will of God, if you will, showing itself, revealing itself. Anyway, you can hear the sounds outside. It's very annoying. The bird calls are okay, I guess. I hope the mic is not picking it up too much. Excuse me. Anyway, so my TBR, I was interrupted by giving that advice about quiet reflection and finding the answers to your problems. So my TBR is getting the complete edition of The Tale of Genji. Or, no, actually I have 3 books on my TBR. I said earlier I had 2. I have 3. The complete edition of The Tale of Genji, and these other, as well as another alternate history book called The Mirage by Matt Ruff. I do want to pick up that book as well. But that's only if I go traveling. If I go outside of my home province here in North Sulawesi. You can hear the motorcycle, can't you? Yeah. Anyway. So I do, only if I travel, I can buy those 2 books. I can buy them online with someone who can buy stuff online. Right now, I've lost my account to my local online seller, so I'm unable to buy a bunch of new books right now. And yeah, you might see me do all these awkward pauses now and then The good news is we have a lot of time here in the chat. So, The Tale of Genji, all 54 chapters. The Mirage by Matt Ruff, Alternative History. I'm going to buy those books if I go traveling in October. Right now, yes, so I was hoping to travel this year because I got a visa to go to Europe, a 90-day visa, a Schengen visa. But I don't have the... right now, we're going through a whole lot of financial issues here at home, so I cannot afford to go there. I cannot afford to travel right now. But I hope to do it in October or November, because in October I also have a lot of other things to worry about to do here at home. And I haven't been uploading as many videos in recent months because I'm having a lot of financial and health issues going on right now. My dad in April was diagnosed with an incurable condition. I'd rather keep that private. So it has been a very, very difficult time in my life. Now, I see a lot of people on BookTube that are a lot of my closest friends, by the way, that are quitting or just not uploading as much, just quitting, just leaving the platform. I cannot see myself doing that yet because I really, I don't want to lose touch with you guys. Although a lot of my friends are, so it is very sad because I like to hear what they have to say. I like to discover new books with you guys. So there you go. I do have a lot of how do I put this? Yeah. It is unfortunate that a lot of people are quitting the platform, but I cannot see myself doing that, even though I'm slowing down my output of videos. So, yeah, I also have to say that I recently got a new job as a wildlife surveyor. I lost my old job as a librarian because the new boss basically bullied me out of work. I was so bitter about that. I was like, I had all these revenge fantasies in my head against that guy. So, who wasn't on the job as long as I was and who is younger than me. So you can understand how much I really, really hate that guy. He bullied me out of my old job that I loved, that I felt I was safe in. And now I have a new job, which is a wildlife surveyor at the reforestation area, which is awesome. And when I scratched a whole lot of things off my to-do list, I felt, oh my goodness, I have so much more free time now. I have so much fewer things to worry about. So look on the bright side a little bit, yeah? And yeah, so and I keep interrupting my to-do list. So I said on condition that I would travel, I would pick up those 2 books. The third book I would do is, if I don't get to buy those books in the very near future, after I finish reading this partial book, is I'm going to read a nonfiction book that is at my mother's home right now. I'm going to pick it up and I'm going to read it. Collapse by Jared Diamond. A nonfiction book. So just to stir things up here a little bit. Anyways, yeah, I want to pick up that nonfiction book. There was some interesting stuff I read in it. I read bits and pieces of it earlier. I usually read nonfiction books. I usually pick up nonfiction books just for referencing, not for reading it from cover to cover appreciating it as an overall message. I just use it for reference. Which and nonfiction books are often supplementary to the internet these days, like Google searches and now even Google is being replaced by by AI. So I don't know what to think about that. But AI is so useful because it gives me a whole lot of feedback. More on AI in a bit after the sprint. Um, let's see. Yeah, I think I've mentioned everything I wanted to mention in this live stream, except for this AI and this book idea I have, which will happen after the sprint is done. So let's see. So there is. I have my clock there, and I'm going to set my timer, and then I'm going to start reading. You might see me disappear from the screen momentarily, but you'll see that I'm there. Hang on. Hang on. I'm going to go to the. I'm going to set my alarm. I'm going to set the timer on my phone here. I got a new phone, by the way. Here we go. We're on the clock. Okay, I'm going to start at 32 minutes. I'm also going to have to set the clock here. I'm going to have to set up a banner. Hang on, I'm going to type it in. Okay. Bingo. I'm trying to make it slide, but I'm having a problem. Forget about it. Let's just start. Okay, we are done the one sprint. That's weird. That's weird. I heard. Why is there an echo? Sound might not be synchronized. I apologize for that. I I hope we can work with this. So, I do have one more thing I want to talk about, but maybe I should do a second sprint. No, 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 no. A second live stream to solve this sound synchronizing problem. Yeah. Um I might come back for a second live stream. All right, let's see how if this works.